Resident Evil 4, Separate Ways. The perfect DLC? You might got a case for it. Now, I've played and experienced many DLCs, and this one to me is literally the perfect DLC. Ada Wong's Separate Ways, it does something magnificent, whereas though it fills in a lot of holes on the main storyline. Let's start off with the controls. See, the controls are really good and there's really smooth gameplay, right? Like, it's not supposed to be like it was when you play with Leon. Leon's a bigger character. He hits harder. He's more physical. Whereas though with Ada, she's more finesse. She has some powerful attacks, but she's more finesse. And the controls simulate that. Like, it doesn't feel out of place. It feels perfect. It feels like the engine used for this game was able to be balanced perfectly for you to play Ada and feel like you're playing with Ada Wong opposed to Leon. Another strength to this DLC is the dialogue. The dialogue is really good, right? You can kind of see in the very beginning of how Ada Wong is responding to the guy that hired her, right? You can see how she's responding to him. You can see how she responds to Leon. You can see that she has some feelings for Leon, even if she tries to make it discreet. But this is all done through the dialogue and the mannerisms in which she talks to him. And this allows you to become really close to Ada because you start to kind of understand her a little bit. One thing that some games in general fail to do is that they fail to make the character, even if you don't like the character, it's hard to understand the character sometimes. Like, you don't know their motives. With Ada, you kind of start to learn her motives, at least in this game, at least for what she's trying to do in this game, right? You also start to see that she actually has a moral compass. Like, she's not just a hit woman or hit man, so to speak, for hire, but she also has I don't like this type of thing. This don't make sense. That's not right. You can't kill that many people. So it's really dope how they allow you to see that in this DLC. Another strength to this DLC is the weapon choice, right? Obviously, Ada is not Leon, so she's not going to have the same weapons as him. However, you do get to see the crossbow. Obviously, we know her famous weapon, the gun that she can use to latch on to things and swing around. As cool as that gun is, I don't think it'll ever happen in real life, but I love that gun, right? Ada's weapon choice, again, fit her playstyle. Everything was just really in sync with this DLC. Another really prominent aspect of this game is how when you play the DLC, you literally go through the same areas as Leon, but you also go through completely different areas that Leon never went to, right? And that, to me, that it just shows, again, the difference. Obviously, the difference in objective between the two, but the difference in character and the way that they, got past enemies. There's one mission on there in the DLC with Ada where you have to run from this. I don't know what the hell this monster is, but you got to run from it, and the lasers are the only thing that can hurt it. And you see how flexible and nimble that Ada is, all while running around in high heels or like 3-inch heels, which to me, I just don't think that makes sense, but that's whatever. And you get to see how she has to maneuver and utilize her brain to beat some of these monsters, because she can't punch her way through like Leon can. Leon can punch his way through a lot of stuff where Ada can't, but she has the intellect and the finesse to make sure that she can come out on top. And not enough people talk about this element when we're reviewing video games, talking about video games. Can we give them praise for only having an 8-hour DLC? I think about 8 hours. Like, sometimes games want to cram so much into it. Like, companies want so much into a game that the game becomes overwhelming, it becomes clunky, it's not smooth, and then you're like, bro, I don't want to play this no more. What am I even doing? Ada Wong, that game the DLC kept me in tune the whole time. And when it was time for it to end, it ended. It didn't drag it out too much longer. It didn't do too much. It didn't change up the story. That's another thing. It didn't change up the story. There's some DLCs where you feel like you're playing an entirely different game and they completely changed the story. This didn't do that. This DLC stuck true to the story. It added more depth to the story, right? It added some clarity to the story. Oh, that's why this happened. This is why that happened. Oh, this is Luis's relationship with Ada. This is Luis's relationship with Leon. It added depth. And that's what a DLC is supposed to do. A DLC is not supposed to just, take away from the story and not make no sense. This DLC was very coherent with the story, and it added to the story. And for me, I think this goes without saying, but I 100% recommend this game. I recommend the RE4 Remake game as a whole, and I recommend this DLC. I think that both these games did exactly what they were supposed to do, right? They took a classic story, a classic game in many people's eyes, and then did all the things that you need to be done in a newer version, and I think that this DLC did everything you wanted to do, right? It gave you more in-depth stories. You got to play a different style of character. You got to see the same maps, and then you got to see some different maps. that were exclusive to Ada. Like, they gave you a specific feel for Ada and how you handle things with Ada. There's actually a mission on there where I actually just ran from the monster. I ain't even the one with like 27 hearts. I ran from him. I ain't even fight him. And and for me, sometimes when you're playing with a character who can't punch their way through, it's okay to do that, right? It adjusts to the playstyle. So I think when playing the DLC, when playing with Ada Wong, you really got a chance to see the entire landscape of RE4, right? The remake. You got to see the entire landscape. With Leon, you got most of the story. You got an understanding and a appreciation for most of the story. Ada came right in behind it with the DLC and then added that extra, like the little spice. She added the spice to it. So now it's like, oh, this is what it was supposed to do. This last piece I'll give you is this. I don't think this game is for anyone who doesn't appreciate nuance. Like, this is not a game that you're going, if you are a certain kind of gamer and you don't appreciate nuance, you don't appreciate flashbacks, you don't appreciate certain innuendos, if you don't appreciate that type of thing, then you probably won't like this game. Because in order to appreciate this game, you have to appreciate those kind of aspects, right? If you're one of those guys who just like to punch their way through, just get to the end of the game, it's not a game for you. And you'll be disappointed because as great as it is to me, you'll find that it drags out too long. I personally love games like this, the Uncharted, the RE4s, the DLCs, the God of Wars. I love those. Those are my style of games. So I would say this DLC was a 10 out of 10. This is the perfect DLC. This is the perfect complement to an amazing game. This is an amazing DLC for an amazing game. If you don't believe me, go try it out for yourself. But I can't really find an issue with this game. If you can, post it in the comments. But me personally, I can't find an issue with this game. I was flat out amazed, and I hope that you guys can go ahead and get that experience as well, because like I could see me playing this again just for the hell of it. I could see me doing it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.